Hello, welcome back. My name is Alyssa, and on my channel, I talk a lot about makeup, but mostly trying to just encourage you to use what you have and not buying all the new things. I did a video recently that I hadn't done for a while, which was Talk Me Out of It, and I was finding a lot of makeup more interesting that was coming out, and I was trying to talk myself out of it, and then also hopefully you as well. But this time, when I was going through the different new makeup releases, there wasn't really anything that caught my eye. Maybe one thing for a hot second, and then I was able to look past it. So let's go ahead and look at these releases together, and let me try to talk you out of it and continue to keep myself talked out of it as well. So if that sounds good to you, then please keep watching. Okay, so hopefully I have moved over enough in my screen here to allow room for the makeup releases to be up as well. So the first thing that I have, and I want to go ahead and say thank you for Makeup on Your Radar. I use that Instagram account to be able to look at the new makeup releases when I'm interested. It's almost always just to film these videos. I don't normally seek it out. It's just, if there's any curiosity, then I can go there. This first release that popped up for me is a satin liquid lipstick pen with vitamin E, because of course we have to always have some sort of skincare ingredient with all of our makeup now. And it's just a liquid lipstick, but I would say it is not the type of liquid lipstick that we had back, 2016 and so on, where it was dry. This really just looks like a super glossy lipstick. It does not look like it's going to dry down at all, which, I guess they didn't really say that it would. They are spending a lot of time talking about precision and, this precise dosage and things like that. To me, this just sounds like a combination of all the things that I would not like altogether. And I want you to just, before we even get too much into talking about this particular lip product, think about what you like in a lip product. Do you want, something that you're gonna wear regularly? Because I don't think I actually saved how much the cost is of this, but this brand is not cheap. So it's probably gonna be, I would bet $28 or something like that, because I think their lip glosses and balms were around that, so it could even be more. Maybe like 32, I don't know. So if it's something that costs that much, you're gonna want to use it up before it expires. So what is the type of lip product that you're going to use all the time? We all have our favorites, so you don't have to have my favorite. Maybe this one is perfect for you, but let's kind of think about it. Okay, if you like a really pigmented, lipstick, why do you want a really pigmented lip product? Okay, whether it's a lipstick or not. Is it because then it kind of hangs on for longer of the day, that you don't have to maybe reapply as often? So then maybe a liquid lipstick would be, something that dries down would be good. Maybe a lip liner that you can just kind of pencil in, and those tend to stay for a while. They're also easier, I feel like, to reapply than some other things. You still would want a mirror, but it's not, I don't know. To me, those aren't super fussy. So thinking about that, is it just because you like having that color? And then when you have that color, do you want it to be matte or do you want it to be glossy? Because that does matter. Do you want something maybe that isn't super pigmented? Do you want it to be more moisturizing? Because if you want it to stay on your lips for a long time, it's not going to be moisturizing. It's, it's one or the other. Do you prefer more of a stain? Do you prefer something skinnier or thicker? So you want to think about all this. If you're like, okay, there's a lip product that's coming out. Okay, well, what would I want in my ideal lip product? So then I'm looking back at this, and for one thing, it's the click type, okay? I don't care that it's not the click balm that we keep seeing all the time. I don't like that. I have one, but I don't know. I get really annoyed by clicking. I get annoyed even just like having to roll up the products, there's like little things like that. I don't want to have to think, one click issue, because what happens when you get to the end? Is it still going to be that one click is the sheer and so on? Or are you going to have to do multiple clicks in order to get, the sheer at that point because it's running low? I don't know. But also the applicator looks so gross. It just looks fuzzy, and I'm just thinking about how messy that's going to be. And it's in this white packaging, and that's not going to look white for long. It's just going to be a mess. And they're saying that it's going to give you an even coverage because it's spreading it out. The roller ball, I'm like, what does the roller ball really do for something like this? I don't know. And then the shape of it, I want to point out, I don't see any picture. I went through the whole carousel. I didn't see any pictures of someone with it even like up to their lips to kind of see, how big is this? Is it, because I would feel like it needs to be almost like one of those hourglass lipstick, like the really skinny type that they had, size to have that precision, because but then that would be annoying if you had, bigger lips versus smaller. Yeah, I feel like unless you have larger size lips, and even then it might not be good, I don't know, but it just feels so big for most people's lips. But again, I didn't see it on someone's lips. And then I'm looking at the result. I just feel like it is too pigmented, and just too much for it being this shiny type of thing. And I don't know, it just looks like it's a mess, or it's going to be a mess. Like that you could put it on perfectly, and then once you start doing anything, it's just gonna start gliding everywhere. Especially if they're saying that it's this, moisturizing type of thing. Like that's not going to stay where you want it to. Like that, like for me, then I want that in a standard bullet lipstick. And because if it's something that can be in a standard lipstick like that, then it does tend to stay a little bit better. Sometimes they can still migrate, but I don't see this going well. That was a whole lot of chatter about this, but I had strong feelings, okay? All right, now I'm looking at swatches, and then there's also just the palette itself. It's the newest Adept palette. I've mentioned before, I don't have a desire to buy from Adept at this time. They also haven't been tempting me. Years ago, I was tempted when they had their singles, when they were coming out with, these really shimmer heavy, shifty palettes and all. But then I get really annoyed because it's like, which version am I supposed to get? Version 1 of the palette had these shades, but then some of them were duds. But then version 2, they fixed some of the duds, but then they had like new duds, or they added mattes. And then there's version 3, and and then they would sell out almost immediately, and you could have some weird back order or so. I just didn't want to mess with all that. I get it. It was smaller at that time, and different things, but I don't want to feel like I'm being experimented on with these different versions. Like it feels like you should have done the work, that I shouldn't have to pay $70 for a palette to experiment with it. Or to feel like I'm part of the experiment, that I'm this guinea pig. And so, no, I don't want that. So this one, it feels very much the same of what they've been doing, that you get some of these silvery colors. I'm still looking for my perfect silver eyeshadow, but I'm not going to buy a palette, even if it did have my perfect silver eyeshadow in it. This is hard to tell. I'm trying to look. When I say that that's my perfect silver, it's on the far right side, like the second shade in. I don't think so. It seems to have this bit of a shadow to it. Like I want a silver that is just very light, no base to it, just a straight up shiny silver. And I'm sure that it's out there. Like I've seen, some, but not enough temptation to buy any of them. Then I'm looking and I see a lot of green shifty shades here. We've got on the far left, it's very typical, this green jade teal type of shift going on. I have that from my newest Nomad palette, and I don't know, it's really hard to get these multi-chrome shades to show up the way you want them to in your eyes, I feel like. And that one, it's almost not different enough to see, I feel like, on the eyes, or it just involves more work. So I don't know, but it's very standard multi-chrome that's in a lot of palettes. Then the one next to it is another that has a green but with pink. And then the other one is a different pink with green. All right, then we've got a matte. Then we've got two darker shimmers. That's, again, I want you to think about for you. Maybe you like dark shimmers, but I almost always am kind of forcing myself to use them, and I already have them in other palettes. So, sometimes I do like using it to, I actually have one today. It's sort of deepening in my crease here, but I have enough of them already that I don't need more of them. So, because then, so I got those two. Then I have another matte. The mattes are kind of fine. The green I'm fine with. Like, I like that there's the lighter green, the darker green. The two midtones are, it's okay. I mean, you have the pink and then I guess more gray. I guess they're different enough. I still feel like you could almost go deeper than that dark green, like that we need something even richer, that it's not maybe enough contrast. And then the very pale shade, it doesn't even really show up on the light person. And then the medium, it's still not much. And then you see it on the darker skin model, but I just don't feel like that's a useful color for anyone. Maybe to kind of set the lid for the lighter skinned one, but with a gray, I don't know. That seems weird to me. But away from the mattes, now we have another dark shimmer that's green that shifts pink. Then we have another pink that shifts green, but just a slight, like we have three pink that go green and then a green that goes pink. Then we have some other kind of pink silver shift. If it's even shifting, it might just be a rose gold. And then we have a different type of shift. It's mostly red, kind of fiery. Although I'm not sure how that shade is going to get paired with these other ones. It just seems way too warm to go with any of those mattes. Any of the mattes. And so do you kind of get what I'm saying here, though? That it's just all these green with pink, pink with green. A little slightly different green, but with the same pink. Oh, this pink is different, but then the green is the same. And no. And again, I don't have the price pulled up right now, but I know that, it's going to be expensive. And when you look at the pans, they don't necessarily look like you're going to get all those repeated types of shades, but the swatches tell us. Okay, so I don't normally talk about perfume because I don't wear it. I used to wear it. I wore it from, I was quite young. My grandmother would give me, it was from like the department stores, and they would have these sets of 5 like little baby type ones, like real tiny minis of, like Trésor. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. Like there was like a Ralph Lauren one. I don't know. And I definitely had some favorites, and then, I would use them, and it took a long time even just to go through those little ones. I guess some people are reapplying during the day. That was not normally my journey. I would put it on in the morning, then I'm off to school, and I'm not going to be pulling out perfume during the middle of the day. So yeah, it's the same thing with makeup. I don't usually do anything with it. I might touch up my lip product, later if I'm going to be going out. But honestly, it's like if I put something on and then I'm out, then that's just how it is. I'm not usually reapplying if I'm just out. It's only if like I'm home and then I'm going out again or something like that. But yeah. Okay, so perfume. I have not worn it for a very long time. I just want to point out, one, how long has Carolina Herrera been doing these shoes? I feel like it's been ages. I thought that they were old lady like then when I was little, and now that I am closer to the target demographic of those, I still feel like they are old lady looking, and I don't get it. I don't know how it's practical for using it, and it feels like it takes up more room than you need it to, and I don't know. I don't get it. I just want to say though, how much perfume do you really need? And I know that like with eyeshadow and stuff, like I have more than I need, but I do try to think critically, which is part of what this whole video series is, about, well, what do I actually see myself wearing? Sometimes there are colors out there that are pretty, but I'm not going to wear. And I have to, understand that. Sometimes there are scents out there that maybe, you're just not going to wear. They're not something that is pleasant on yourself, that you've tried out something like that and you're like, yeah, I just don't like vanilla on me, or I don't know, all those other scent notes that people talk about. So there's that. Maybe you don't like it. Or there's also the other side of maybe that is totally your scent and you love wearing that type of scent, well, then I want to ask, how many of that type of scent do you already have? Okay, because the perfume will go bad. I had to throw out so much perfume that I've been holding on to. I had mine, I had my mom's, and it's like, no one's wearing this, and I don't even want to hand it over to someone because it's like 20, 30 years old, and that's, ridiculous. So how much can you go through? Why don't you, maybe go through so many before you would buy a new one? Just because they're always coming out with new scents. It's kind of like with the eyeshadows, where if you're just always buying all the new stuff, at some point that new stuff is just old, and then there's better stuff that's come out and you're like, oh, like I wish I could have that, but now I don't have the money or the space or just the time to use all of it. So, it's like, I kind of like that with when I started my channel on here, I was sort of transitioning. I had a lot of really old makeup, and then, the makeup I've been buying is so much better than the makeup that I had before. There's been just so many improvements in quality and things like that. So I feel like it could be the same with perfume, that, they're maybe making things last longer or have more nuanced smells or things like that. So, just because there's another new holiday set that's a good deal, or just some other new, any of the perfume stuff, okay? Think about if you actually like it on yourself, and if you do, maybe you already have that kind of stuff and you don't need it right now, and you can just, it's like the limited edition makeup too. Like, it doesn't mean that you have to go buy it just because it might not be around when you eventually need it. There will be something for you at that time, okay? Your perfume taste is not that weird. Okay, moving on. We've got more of this weird skincare with makeup thing. Okay, Glow Recipe, I've never bought from them. I haven't even tried any of their stuff. No, I can say I have not tried any of their stuff. I don't know why we have to keep putting skincare in things. I'm not a liquid blush fan for many reasons, but then I've heard just not great things about theirs. I don't know. Like I said, we don't need the skincare in the makeup, okay? And if you want to go into makeup, then can we just start a makeup line and not do this weird hybrid thing? Because didn't they also kind of say, like, I think they've said, like, it's not a blush, it's just no. It is a blush, and it might just be a bad blush, and so you don't want to call it a blush because then people are going to be like, it's a bad blush, but it's a bad blush. Oh, and look, Laura Geller. They put out the highlighter again. Same main color that they've had for many years. It is back. It's in the same packaging. The little swirl looks different. It looks more like a flower than like a food ice cream swirl type of thing now. Why are we only doing one color? I don't have an issue with them bringing back the highlighter. I don't know why they put it in the cheap packaging, or it looks cheap. I don't know, again, with just having one option. I'm not a highlighter person, but I get that it's coming back. Yeah, no, don't go and buy it. Don't support them with only putting out one shade. I don't care that it was, the most viral shade that they might have had or something. No, that's just rude and disrespectful. So just don't do it. Even if it would look good on you, go buy that type of color from someone else. Or we can wait long enough and maybe they'll release other ones, and then you could decide. I still wouldn't support them for that because I think it's rude. It's like when you put out a foundation, and you only do like 3 shades. You're like, oh, we're going to see how well it does and then we'll do more. No, you can put out more than that. I don't know. Okay. Cosmic Beauty has done another whole collection. It's not just an eyeshadow palette, but you know, most of us are looking at the eyeshadow palette. I will say, actually, I do want to, where did I have? Oh, here it is. The highlighter, the palette. I mean, I guess the blue is a little bit different, but it looks so much like Sofie Alexandra has been doing a Pan That face palette with, and it's 3 highlighters. I'm trying to remember what brand it is. Is it MAC? No, I don't know. But the same, when people were swatching it, it looked very similar to that. And that just kind of, you know, made me laugh because I know her face palette is really old. And it's like, oh, we're just bringing that back again. Okay. And the quality didn't look any different than what hers is. So I don't know what that is saying about the quality of this. But then if we're looking at the eyeshadow palette, this is just, you know, I'm okay if you want to buy this from them. But I will say that if you have been buying other makeup palettes recently, you should double check that you don't already have this color story. Because if you ignore the warm tones, you got the purples and blues and all that. That's been all over the place with tons of different eyeshadow palettes lately. And so, you know, you have that. Then you add on the warm tones, but some of them have been doing the warm tones with it. It's kind of, I don't know. On one hand, the warm tones seem really out of place. I just sort of feel like, you know, maybe it adds a twist to it, but is it a twist that we needed? Did we need to have those extra, you know, 4 shades or so? Could we just like cut that out and make it a smaller palette? Yeah, that whole like first column there, if we just took it out, maybe it would be a more cohesive, prettier palette. I don't know. It's just kind of my thoughts. I was excited when I saw the outer cover, but I don't really see that outer cover reflected the same way. Now, you know what does reflect the outer cover? Millie, or Bad to the Brow, just did this, it's like Mystic Gothic, I want to say, themed, you know, I'll have to link both Sofie and Millie. But yeah, she did a thing where it was basically like back in the 90s or so. They would always have these catalogs that would come to your house, and they'd have like blankets or clothes or whatever that were this certain type of navy blue, just like the packaging of this, with these gold, you know, suns and stars and things like that. It's very celestial, you know, looking. And I never owned anything like that, but it's like it calls to you. And that's kind of what I thought it would be, and it's not, but Millie did it. Instead, this makes me think of, then the other common thing was like these sunflowers with and this kind of makes me more think of that, which, you know, I had something like that, and it you know, it wasn't really cute then either. So, all right. I do have some more products, so let's keep going. Apparently Kylie is back. She heard that liquid lipsticks are coming back and she wants to make some more money off of you. I've never tried any of her stuff. I don't know. I'm just saying it's the same stuff she had and it's back. And there's an eyeshadow palette. I've heard mixed things about her eyeshadow quality, so maybe it's fine, but it also just doesn't really seem to have a color story. It's just colors that are similar together in a palette, and that's kind of it. So they're kind of pastel, kind of mid-tone, nothing special. Paula's Choice also heard that we are, you know, really into these peptide lip balm things. Just want to say that, you know, it's like, how many rounds of these lip balm things are we going to have? Like, they're great, but maybe you waited too long to come out with this, okay? Especially when, you know, I mean, it's 2 for $35, but that's not a great deal, and you don't get to pick the colors. Yeah, I hope no other brand comes out with it. I mean, it's like the drugstore brands already came out with them, so why are you doing it now? And then the other thing that kills me with this is they're very much, you know, a skincare brand, and they're trying to make it like a skincare thing, and they're saying that it's pro collagen. Like you can't just like have collagen sitting on your lips and have it do anything. The whatever plumping is going on is probably that there's peppermint oil or, you know, some other stuff, or it's just that it's glossy, so it makes your lips look more plump. So it's really annoying that they're kind of going into that marketing. And okay, this palette, I had a friend who, well, I'm calling you a friend, hopefully you consider me a friend, who was interested in this. And so when I saw it on my feed, then I was thinking of this friend, and I could see it looking very good on this particular person. The grays and things. It's not my color story. I have to say, I've heard mixed things for this Kryptine Cosmetics brand. I know that it's not easy for us to get, I feel like, right now in the US because of tariffs and things like that, and it's just very expensive. I feel like even if there wasn't this exact type of color story somewhere with the grays and the reds and the blacks, that you could always combine a couple of palettes to get that, or just buy some singles, you know, and get a similar type of thing, like fill in the blanks. Like if you don't have the red eyeshadow, then maybe go get a red, but you might already have the grays. And the only reason to get it, I feel like, is if you didn't have any of these colors that you were looking forward to wearing. But I also just feel like it's a hard color story to pull off, to have red with the gray and the black, that it just, I don't know. Especially the red that they use. The darker red, yes. The brighter red just feels out of place. And maybe I'm just not creative enough to see how it would all go together. But yeah, this is my attempt to try to talk you out of it. So I don't know if I did that. Okay. Second to last, we have this blush from Natasha Denona. Okay. I don't buy from Natasha. She doesn't know who I am, but, you know, I don't buy from her. So there's that. This blush, I'm sorry, I have friends on here who love it, and I'm happy for you, but I get so annoyed. This is just like the highlighter from Laura Geller. Why is it just one color? I understand that there's like 3 things in it, but you can't tell me, especially when you look at the swatches on the arms, that darker blush is doing anything for anyone who is a medium color or darker. I mean, it's barely showing up on the model in the middle, and you know, the middle shade, it looks ashy on the 2 darker ones. The highlighter, it just looks like it would be way too icy. It only works on the lighter skin one, and that's not, I don't like something so icy. I also just don't do highlighter. Yeah, it definitely doesn't work on the darker models. And you put this out before, and then you're bringing it back, and it's still just the same thing. And I get part of the reason, one of the main reasons I don't buy from Natasha, is she doesn't show any consideration for anyone other than herself, you know, and her own skin color and what she wants and likes, and that's it. And if, you know, you're okay with that, that's fine. But I get really annoyed by it. You know, back when she had the eyeshadow palette, the glam one, I think, right? Where it was, you know, telling you where to put the eye colors, or the different colors like on your eyes, but it didn't make sense if you were different skin color than her white skin. And so then she was like, oh, well, you know, you could rearrange it. And I'm like, but the names of the eyeshadows are, you know, saying crease and things like that. Like, but now it's not a crease shade for that person. It's a highlight or something. And it's like, it's so rude. It's so disrespectful. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we coming out with it just in the same color? And that's it for everybody. Like, then just only show it on the one arm, and that's it. You know, like, don't try to act like you're being inclusive by showing on other people, because you're not. So, yeah. I'm not a fan of her. Finally, another brand not known for being very inclusive is Tarte Cosmetics, and they have this glow pot. I don't know. Again, it's a single shade. They're trying to say that you can use it in different ways on your face. They're saying that it comes with a custom pressing tool to keep it clean. I don't want to have a tool to keep my makeup clean. I don't understand. Like, what is it, just like coming loose? Like, what is going on? Why is it not saying how it is? Why would I want this, I guess, then over another, just like a pressed eyeshadow or a pressed highlighter? What is it giving me by being in this little pot? Yeah, and then when you act like you can use it in different ways, it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to use it as a highlighter. Some people might be able to. I guess I could use it as an eyeshadow, but why am I paying $30 for this random weird brush that most of you don't like two-sided brushes? I'm okay with them, but most of you don't like it, so, don't talk to me about that being part of the value. And then this pot of gold. Maybe this should have come out for, like, St. Patrick's Day or something. Leprechauns, things like that. So those are my thoughts on these makeup items and makeup releases and all of that. And I think I've said enough. So hopefully I managed to talk you out of some of this. And like I said, there wasn't anything that tempted me here. So maybe you prefer it when I am tempted by stuff to help talk you out of it. You can let me know. But if you do still like this, then that's great. Thank you for watching. Until my next video, I hope you'll be doing well, and I'll see you then. Bye.